afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of the Sustainability Dialogues in Saudi Arabia, a feature interview series where we look at the roadmap for the kingdom's journey towards the net zero 2060, the 2030 vision, and how these work together to create a more sustainable economy, a more sustainable society. And today we're looking at trying to answer the question, how to leverage digitalization to rethink economic and environmental goals. And I say we're just start to answer these questions because these are very large questions, of course, and they will be only answered over a period of time. And today we will take a small snapshot in trying to answer that question with Mr. Fawwaz Mohammad Alshammari, Senior Vice President, Country Head of Digital Industries, Siemens, Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Fawwaz.
Thank you, Sean. Happy to be with you.
Pleasure to have you. I mean, there's no doubt that digitalization is in some ways the big transformation. I think before we had the energy transition, we had the fourth industrial revolution. I mean, there's a big word, isn't it? Could you give me some of your initial thoughts on the theme of today's discussion, just how to leverage digitalization to rethink economic environmental goals, and we'll then take it on from there.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, indeed, sustainability is extremely important topic, and nowadays everyone is talking about it. It is one of the mega trends topic nowadays because of how we as a people affecting the climate, affecting the future, the life of the people, of the creatures, and how our economies is growing. That's why we have to really care of how we are managing our resources to make sure we are having the efficiency of managing the best out of these resources to keep it for us as well as for the coming generation as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, by utilizing the digitalization and the new technology, we will have a better off of utilizing the resources, of controlling the emission of the carbon on the climate, as well as being more efficient on our waste, being water or any other type of the waste.
I wanted just the reason I was going to jump in there was just to ask I mentioned in my introduction the fourth industrial revolution, which of course is the digital toolbox that has been changing the world for 10 years or more now, and every industry has been exposed to this transformation, and we in the region have been a little bit slower than most other neighborhoods to adopt the 4IR. Now we have the full front of the energy transition. From your perspective, how much do we need to accelerate because of the slow adoption of 4IR, that now with the energy transition, really time is of the essence? Your thoughts around time and the acceleration of adoption of digital tools for the energy transition?
That's a very good question. Yes, we are always looking for even faster move, even though with a clear vision of 2030 of Saudi, I think the Crown Prince has set the clear map for us, and that's why it's one of the, I would say, rare cases that the government is faster than the private sector, which is really great. Sometimes we cannot even cope up with them. Honestly speaking, being with Siemens, one of the leader globally on the industrial and digitalizations, sometimes we are getting some requirements from some of the government entities. When we talk to our headquarters and our colleagues, they said still it is under development. So just to give you a hint that how government is really speeding up. Yes, things will be more mature with time. Implementing or driving this from the government will not be enough. Every stakeholder has to be part of this game. The ecosystem has to be built together. And in order to avoid such slowness, there is some great initiatives by the government, by privatization, some of their sectors, which will help faster adoption of such new technologies. Regulations is in a place nowadays, which we are trying to also be part of it with the government to add whatever we can as a private sector. but we are never late and we are never fast. We have to speed up as much as we can.
Fawaz, you have a pretty unique perspective because you were on the client side, right? You had several roles with Saudi Electricity, Zain. Now you're Siemens in terms of the solution side. But I'm wondering when your experience and now with Siemens looking across all of the sectors in the kingdom, where would you identify those that have accelerated, have moved quicker than others, and are benefiting from that, and those that maybe need to do some catch up? Your thoughts on that?
In general, there is a race, I would say. If you mean the government entities, there is a really race. Oil and gas is booming. They are really, I would say, a pioneer on this and adapting the new technologies. Water sector is one of the biggest globally for Saudi because we depend big time on the desalination water. They are utilizing really the latest technology in terms of the AI, uh, for the leak detection, for the maintenance, predictive maintenance, and so on, which is really good. Telecom sector is great also in Saudi. They are really booming. I can compare it to even better than some of the really advanced countries. So the race is high. However, I would say the ecosystem is still developing in terms of the collaboration between the sectors, knowledge sharing, and using the latest and the best practice among the sectors, which I think there's some initiatives, either being Modon or SIDF, trying to put together and utilize the resources together to have the best results.
I mean, one of the challenges inevitably in such a massive transformation on a national level is the different speeds of sectors progressing, advancing, as you said, obviously the energy, the oil and gas sector, world class, Aramco, biggest, most profitable company in the world, leads on so many levels. But when you get across the sector, there's different paces. I'm wondering where digital can play a role, do you think, in equalizing that disparity?
I would say the difference of the speed is very important issue. We have it now. For example, some of the sectors are really advanced while others are still behind. Also, umbrella, which can talk or handle all these initiatives on a national level, is sometimes uh, need to be, let's say, like pushed from the government side because we have so many entities sometimes overlapping with the new technology, either sometimes Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, sometimes it's under Ministry of Energy. Sadaya also playing a very important
What about
role in.
NIDLIP? I know that when we were talking with NIDLIP not so long ago, they were talking about establishing capacity development centers. What is the progress with those sorts of structures and the role of a coordinating entity like NIDLIP, which sort of has oversight over the whole, if you like?
Yes, NIDLIB is the main player on this actually, and they are coordinating this all over the kingdom. And there's also some small initiatives. For example, we are talking to SIDF on having AM hub, Advanced Manufacturing Hub, and they are gathering all private and government sectors to see what they can do. Also, the competitors, vendors, SMEs as well, to see how to take the industrial to the next level in Saudi. So a lot of effort is going on from the government, and the good part, the ambitions is big, the plan is big, and we are into the race with the time.
What about data, Fawaz? I know you, as I said, you were previously with Saudi Electricity Company. I had a very interesting interview with your CEO, your former CEO, not so long ago, and he was telling me that they're actually moving from being a provider of electricity to becoming a data company, a data management company. I'm wondering where that plays a role. How important is that transition? Companies like Saudi Electric and others managing data, harvesting data, big data.
Data is the real assets which we can utilize in order to go to the next level. Without having enough data and our behavior of our machines, our consumptions, our use of technology, Without that, we cannot go to the next level, either being for like having a big data or these is like a data center and so on. Without having the enough data, we cannot go. We cannot use AI if you don't know what's going on, basically. You have to know,
It's the raw material of
otherwise,
artificial intelligence.
it is. Without having it, you cannot move forward. That's why it is extremely important. And thanks now to the government authorities, which they are really caring about having the data in Saudi, and we are participating on this as a Siemens, having our IoT MindSphere platform in Saudi to serve such a huge demand in the market.
How do you think we can in the kingdom, because as we mentioned, you can't do any artificial intelligence without an active and comprehensive data gathering and data mining infrastructure. How can we foster a stronger innovative culture in Saudi Arabia that helps to accelerate the green technology adoption?
I think we have to look to the full picture, to the full cycle, either being the talented people, how we can focus with universities and college, how we embedded such important information and technology on their curriculum, in their research, either being postgraduate or undergraduate, plus connecting this with the real industry cases. I don't want them to be like only on academia. When they go to the market, they don't see the real situation. This is extremely important factor helping the culture and improving the technology in the kingdom, which I feel we are moving toward that. Still, the goal is big, but
I mean, you have such amazing institutions like CAST and KAUST and CAPSARC and the other great universities. But is there a journey to be made in aligning industry and academia and research in order to get to the critical applied tools?
Yeah, there is actually. I would say there is some initiatives from some of the universities or some of the private sectors like us. We are dealing with some of the universities, like Rifat University and others, to see how we can cooperate and how we can show what is the real cases and help them also on applying their knowledge in our projects and like solutions. Recently they have announced the government announced a new, I think it's not a minister, it's a presidency or something about a commission about the research and development, which is extremely important to foster the development and research in Saudi, and I'm sure we will see a good result soon out of this commission.
Siemens is in a very sort of special place in a way, given that you are operating across so many sectors: healthcare, oil and gas, electricity. I mean, it's a phenomenal profile that you have. I'm just would welcome your insights on how our partnerships and strategic collaborations different or need to be different in the digital age, and with Siemens sitting at the nexus of so many of those partnerships.
Yeah, actually, yes, we are almost 175 years old, but we are considered as our president and CEO said, we are a software company nowadays because, technology is emerging.
A
That's why
175-year-old startup. That's quite an achievement.
that's why you can see a lot of acquisition done by Siemens, more than 10 billion in the last 10 years. I'm not sure about the exact number, but it's something
A
like
lot.
that. Other than what we're doing and developing in-house from our departments and sectors. And the good part, as you mentioned, we're working in so many sectors which will help us in knowledge sharing and taking some technology applied for certain sectors, apply to take it to another sector and apply it there. It's really a rich.
I mean, that sort of
experience.
crossover technology opportunity is quite unique in Saudi in some ways, because you have these huge new cities like Neom. Obviously, it's the headline, but of course there are others, greenfield projects, and then you have sort of urban transformation in a massive city like Riyadh. These are real opportunities for crossover technologies.
Yes, true, and that's why, as you said, what we have in Saudi nowadays, it's really unique. A lot of super giga projects, which we are also working with and also the existing like brownfield, as you mentioned, in terms of underdevelopment and so on, which we are very proud being in Saudi for almost a century and working with the government and the private sector in order to participate in such amazing journey of Saudi vision.
I mean, when you look at those again, the sort of earlier question of those that are moving quickly, we talked about earlier, where are we seeing crossover? I know in my engagement with Aramco and oil and gas, they've been doing some very interesting crossover technologies with healthcare. The idea of pumps used in hearts and heart surgery being deployed as digital tool solutions in oil well drilling. I mean, it's mind boggling. Where have you seen some examples of really useful crossovers?
Can say, for example, one of the new technology which is used also, we are proud having it with Aramco, is a digital twin, which is applied on how their offshore sites been managed and controlled from onshore. And we are doing also this can be applied for other sectors. For example, a new factory, a new big cities. We are in discussion with some of the government entities to have such a digital twin in order to manage their assets but it's different application. But the technology is the same. Either oil and gas is different than, for example, water sector.
Looking at that, just sort of wrapping up as sort of final thoughts for us around the reality that in that equation of crossover and speed, that one size doesn't fit all. Digital tools need to be leveraged and positioned to suit the business need. I mean, how do you see that intersection? How do you customize and at the same token move everybody forward? You can't have bespoke everywhere, but the inevitably digital tools do need to be customized.
Sure, all it depends on the customer need and what is the real practice that they're looking for. Based on the need, it can be customized, and this is one of the things which sometimes difficult to help the customer, because if they are not looking, they don't know what exactly they are looking for. I need the latest technology. Yes, there's a lot of latest technology. Tell me what's your problem, what's your plan, then we can customize it accordingly. And this is, I think, one of the challenges, but it's not much in Saudi. But as I said, the clear vision and the KPIs which is given to our government entities really set the rule for everyone, which make it clear for everyone where they are heading.
Well, we need to wrap it up there. Where we are heading is the Sustainability Dialogues in Saudi Arabia podcast series, where we're looking at all of the issues towards the net zero target of 2060, and of course, the 2030 vision, which is the immediate destination. And I'm really grateful to Fawwaz Mohammad Alshammari, SVP, Country Head of Digital Industries for Siemens Saudi Arabia. Thank you for being on this week's podcast.
Thank you, Sean.